Hello everyone and happy Wednesday. It's Kat here and we're back with another deck to flip through and a book to go over with today's topic. So I will try my best to, keep this under 30 minutes. I have been good so far. Sometimes I go a little over. Especially if it's something that really intrigues me, and this is a topic that really intrigues me. So I was meditating the other day and I was like, that's about to be my video. So in that meditation, I was reading Smoke, and for those of you who don't know what that is where you light incense or herbs or something like that. And you read the smoke. You take all the images from the smoke and you kind of put it all together. So sometimes I meditate that way if it calls to me. Other times it's just a traditional meditation or cleaning or painting or whatever, right? Tickles my fancy. So the thing that came out of the smoke was a set of stairs. And I was like, okay, noted. And I knew exactly what it meant. And I was like, that's going to be the video because fuck, we're human, right? So, we're going to go over that. Plus, I'm going to flip through this deck. It's called the Untamed Truth Oracle cards. Maybe I should give an advisory, like this is not suitable for children. Some of these cards have, foul language on it. Not that I ever use it, but I do read people with this deck. It's probably as straightforward as I am in my readings, but I think you guys will like it. So let's get started. We'll get to the book later. So what we're going to talk about, and I'm going to pose it in a question, and you do not have to answer me, but you must answer yourself. And if you feel like talking to me about it, you can email me, you can find me on Instagram, or you can leave a comment below. I'm okay with those three things. Just to, curious of what your answer will be when I pose the question. So here's the question. Are you going up or down the stairs? Or are you embracing each level? Now, life, right? It brings so many different levels of bullshit, right? That we tend to want to rush through it. We want to get to the good part. And we forget to experience the level because, who the hell wants to truck through shit? You know what I'm saying? So we try to, speed it along and try to curve around the lesson rather than embracing it, right? So at times it feels like we are going up the stairs, and then at times we're going down the stairs. And then when you are at a level of some sort of contentment, that is where you're embracing the level as it is, not necessarily as it pertains to you. I hope that made sense. All right. So these are not in order, okay, because I use this deck, but I thought it'd be a good deck to go through. So if there are any cards that stick out to you, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if I can speak, okay? It's been one of them mornings, okay? It's just one of them mornings. But here we are, okay? So what is your relationship like with yourself? Right? Are you constantly pushing yourself down the stairs because you have this fear of success? Or are you constantly pushing yourself up the stairs because you have this fear of failure? Or are you saying that each step for you, for your person, you consider it a success, right? And I think a lot of times it all boils down to change and whether or not we want to embrace some sort of change, if that makes sense. I'm gonna zoom in here so you guys aren't like thrown off. Embracing change, you know, I always say like change is good. It's the only thing that's constant in this world. Change and change. And sometimes I believe that to be loose change, right? But it's kind of like losing your marbles too, right? So when you really think about that question, right? All those questions I just asked, let me say it that way. When you really think about all those questions I just asked, the final question I want you to answer is, how are you robbing yourself of happiness? And why? Right? Like, you don't have to tell me the why, but like, why? Right? Why do us as humans rob ourselves of just complete and utter, like, what? Like, why? Why put us, like, how many times can I say why? Like, who told you to put that limitation on yourself? Right? Right? Who? My favorite card. Okay. That was a squirrel moment. If you're new here, we have those, and you probably should just deal with it. So it's who told you you had to go through life a certain way, pushing yourself a certain way, or moving yourself like down a certain way? Who told you to beat yourself up? Who told you to beat yourself down? Like, that's not, is it really human? Is it inhumane to treat ourselves just as poorly as some people treat animals, right? That's not the greatest example, but it's what came to my mind. And I promise you, everything that I'm talking to you guys about is probably purely channeled, because I'm gonna forget everything when we're done, but that's okay. Think about that though. Like, who told you that you had to rob yourself of experiencing joy, of experiencing life, and of experiencing peace? Who told you you had to rob yourself of that? Who told you that you had to work a 9 to 5, right? This is another favorite card of mine, okay? I love when this one come out because I could say it, and, you know, it's just fun. But who told you? Who told you to stop being creative, right? Who told you that you won't amount to more than something else, or this person? Who told you to place a limit on your level of potentiality, you know? Who told you to put that level there? Like, who told you to put that limit? Who told you to stop when you're really meant to go, right? Who told you that it was a bad idea to do whatever it is the fuck that you were thinking to do because they don't like it? That's another, I like this card too. I don't know why I like all these dark ass cards, but it'd be straight to the point for me, so that's what works. But who told you you couldn't just embrace each level as it is? Not necessarily taking ownership of what's happening on that level. So let me explain that. When you get to like a certain stage in a goal, right? Usually there's some type of feeling or emotion that comes with it. And what happens is we tend to say, I feel, or I am something good, something bad, something in the middle, whatever, when we get to a certain level, right? So, for instance, you get to a level and you're like, this is shit, so I feel like shit. Who told you to claim feeling like shit? That's what I'm talking about here. So it's really about embracing change and embracing the next level of you, if that makes sense. And this is a good card to come up because it is that internal conflict, right? And it's not always external. A lot of times it's internal. It's mind versus the soul or spirit or whatever you want to call it. It's your body fighting against your mental, against your soul, against whatever. That internal conflict is trying to deal with change. And if you are not equipped, that's the word I'm looking for, equipped with the right tools, embracing change will be the worst thing you've ever experienced. Now, I would tell you, if you are an earth sign, change is not easy for you, okay? Whether that's your sun, your moon, your rising, whatever, or in your thought pattern, right? So that'd be like Mercury or Mars, right? Change is not your friend. So you already have an element of resistance, okay? But who also told you that you had to resist even more when you literally can use that resistance to your advantage, where instead of resisting the change, you can push it so that things manifest and move in a manner that works for you. It's not always easy to do, but we get there, right? This is a pretty card. I just love little birds on the card. We're gonna let that sit there for a little minute because we talk about something heavy, so you need some peace in your life, I guess. So, you know, how do we survive change, right? How do we get to the point where we're no longer, you know, hurting ourselves to climb upstairs or hurting ourselves by falling backwards, right? Oh, look, endurance is the next card. How do we get to each level, embrace it as it is, and then look to move forward? And this is always one of those topics that I like to address some way, somehow, when I'm doing my walking home barefoot sessions with people. This is your soul's journey, right? So walking home barefoot is literally you walking home, back to your home, whether it be mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever. It's oh, speaking of double there, it's a whole hour-long session for you to get everything out so we can situate it and plan and get you 3 goals going and then go from there. So in that, I try to help the person embrace change on a level that will get them to reach this exact thing, is to get you to kind of like open up to your most authentic self, to embracing each level of change as it is, not necessarily as you being it. You get to a certain level and you go, well, I'm better than I was before, or something needs to shift so that I can get better. Like get in a better position, I should say. Not necessarily you get to a level and like, it's like waking up saying, well, I feel like shit. So all day you feeling like shit, right? Make that make sense. When I wake up, the first thing I say is, I'm grateful, right? If you wake up and make it a habit of waking up with a different attitude towards situations and towards life itself, that is a way to get you going with manifesting what you're looking for. So every day I wake up, I'm grateful, I'm thankful, I'm blessed, and I'm offering thanks to, you know, all the people I offer thanks to, right? And I say good morning to my plants, right? And I say good morning to the dude in the house, and I say good morning to the dog in the house, and so on and so forth. Everything has its place, but I don't necessarily have to keep that routine because I can change it, right? It's the power of choice, but it's also the power of change. You are in control of your part in that process. That's the only part you need to even show concern for, because you know that if you can do something, you'll do it. And if you can't, you just have to leave it until things start shifting, or until like a light bulb goes off and you like, all right, I got it. And then you can move forward. But in order to fully bring change in at each level, you have to understand that you are not simply just going up or simply going down. Why, you're going back a level for what? What lesson didn't you learn? Right? Because 9 times out of 10, if you're going down the stairs, which is depending on your outlook, that's the not the way you want to go, right? That's kind of like going back to being closed to yourself, right? When you're going downward, usually some situation has presented itself in a repetitive manner. So whether you're attracting the same kind of partner over and over, whether or not you're attracting the same kind of financial situation over and over and over, what didn't you learn from the previous step, the step that you just came from, that you're now feeling like you're being pushed down? That will get you to embrace the current level for what it is, as a lesson, and not necessarily as a prison, right? If you can embrace the lesson, you can leave the bullshit there, right? All the pain, all the headaches, leave all that there, right? At the previous level, take the lesson and move forward. That is a more easier way to grasp change. And that being said, it's how do you get to the point of surviving it, right? Like, so that you're not robbing yourself of happiness, so that you're not robbing yourself of manifesting a greater situation for yourself. The going up and down the stairs is all about thought pattern, right? And I think that is primarily why I do this work, is because thought patterns are a thing that we tend to put in place from some either childhood experience, a traumatic event, something of that nature. It usually shifts us and molds us so that we become such a way that we're, just continuing doing the same thing over and over. And cycles, right? I think once you determine if you're going up or down, look at the limits that are there, right? How do you embrace each level? And are you embracing each level? Or are you speeding through because you're on some fucking race? But the problem is you're speeding through and everything feels like the previous level. So you just keep running and running and running and running, only to realize you never left that level because you're too busy trying to escape it rather than learn from it. So I think that's that's a key thing now more than ever with, the way society has become, after dealing with a pandemic of sorts. It's change is not easy. We notice that when, government's like, mask up. Me, my introverted self, I'm over here like hell to the motherfucking yes, okay? But people who aren't like me, that was a struggle. It was a struggle to comply with something that you felt went against your very right to, breathe. Well, guess what? No one was stopping you from breathing. What they were stopping is from you from breathing in bullshit so that you wouldn't get sick. Well, you can wear the mask if you want to or not. I am not mad at you. I don't care what you do. You're not in my house. I don't care, right? I will say this. When you made your decision, your choice to follow whatever path you wanted to do, and let's stick with the pandemic, where did that get you? Right? And you don't have to use that example. You can use any example. I'm just using that one for the time being. Where did your decision get you? Did it get you to move up or move down? Did it get you to embrace the level a little bit better? Or did you just say, okay, all right, next step, thinking that you move to the next step, but you feel stuck, right? A lot of people come to me feeling stuck, and it's like, okay, did you embrace the level you on? Well, I've been here long enough. I don't know what the fuck to tell you then. Like, embracing the level means you've taken the lesson and now you can implement it, okay? Because practice makes perfect. Then you move to the next step. That next step, that next stone, if you will, involves you learning the lesson from the previous step. But if you ain't doing that, then we got problems, right? We got big problems, right? So, like, think of it that way, okay? So, that being said, and long way around that, because I felt like I dragged that out for no fucking reason. But anyway, that being said, I want to offer some, I don't know, reference, I guess, to help you survive change. The way the meditation was set up in reading the smoke, you can use, if you're a visual person, you can use cards. Okay, you can use oracle cards, you can use tarot cards, whatever kind of cards, right? And if you make your own, you can do that too. Some people just journal, like, daily, to see what has shifted and what hasn't. Like, if your energy is feeling up or down, and what exactly it is that you're claiming to be in that moment. You can address that, right? And then step out of that and go, I don't need to own this emotion because this particular event happened at this particular hour and is no longer affecting my current situation. Do you really have to hold that, right? Like, yes, we all want to, be mad. You could be mad. And if you've ever sat with me and you told me that you were mad, now, if you're sitting with me in a 30-minute reading, okay, because that's the lowest reading I offer, and you tell me that you're mad and after 30 minutes you're still mad, I'm going to say that that's self-inflicted, because after 12 minutes, everything is self-inflicted at that point, right? If you need to start a timer after you get pissed off, do that, okay? Because after 12 minutes, I'm calling it. I'm gonna be like, you've been mad for 30 minutes. It's self-inflicted. I can't help you, right? You have to pass that emotion, not me. That's not my job, right? But we've identified it and we've called it what it was. But do you have to hold on to what already happened versus, embracing the current moment, the present moment? So, that being said, I'm going to introduce you to this book, but I got to zoom out so you guys can actually, see it and move some stuff out the way. There you go. All right. How to survive change you didn't ask for, because who the fuck asked for shit to just be changed? Okay? And I'm going to tell you, I have a Taurus moon that likes to, jump between Gemini and Taurus depending on the year. Okay, because something's wrong with my moon. Change, as much as I love change, being, having that Leo fire, as much as I love change, I hate it when I'm not the one that prompted it. Okay, now let me tell you something. You ain't gonna ever be the one that prompted change, so you gonna forever be mad. Okay, but I give myself 2 minutes to let out whatever disgruntled, speech I need to let out, and then I move on. And I go through it and I look for, what this is going to help me with moving forward versus where it's going to keep me if I don't learn from it. So it's been a lot of that lately. But this, okay, a friend of mine posted this book some time ago, and I finally got around to ordering this, okay? I order my books through thriftbooks.com, okay? Yeah, thrift books. Because they have some really good used books for cheap, and I'm just a fan of that. But you can probably get this at like Barnes & Noble, Amazon. Your choice how you want to search for this. I will put the name of this in the description along with the deck that I showed. I'm getting around to reading this, but I have not started, okay? So I will tell you this. If you want to read along with me, you can go ahead and get the book. This looks meaty. Not as meaty as some books I got, but this looks meaty, okay? This look like it's gonna take a whole journal plus one, and I'm so glad that I know how to make journals so I can put one together. But I feel like this is gonna require a journal, okay? If you want to get this book and, you know, join me and we go chapter by chapter, I am more than willing to do that with you. Just comment below if, you know, who all wants to do that. And I can make a separate video just for this book if you guys want. Otherwise, I'm doing it myself. But I think for anybody who's embracing change right now, especially with the way things are moving and the way things are just shifting, whether it be energetically, cosmically, whatever your path, it's learning to embrace the change as it comes. Some people can just say, all right, fuck it, it is what it is. I am one of those people most of the time. The other part of the time, I am not that person. I am the person going, who said that they could change that? I didn't give the authorization. Like, that's me the other part of the time, okay? This is for that other part of the time, okay? So I think that the concept of change and our thought patterns and our perspectives on how we're moving about life really does dictate how you go about manifesting and reaching your goals, right? And I think that, like, when I'm working with clients, and I guess I never really put it all together when I look at everything until right now in this moment, that when I'm working with clients is usually helping them to embrace a change so that they can properly, like, how can I say, like, promptly, there we go, there's the word. I'm having trouble speaking today. I promise you I don't drink. It's implementing those changes. And that's the hardest part, because you're learning a new habit. You're learning a new way of thought, like a way of thinking. And the thought process for some people can be like all over the place, and you're trying to train your brain to go like this. That's not always doable. And I think for those people who do struggle with change itself, I think this might be a good book. But for me to know that fully, I have to read it. So today's session was basically going over one of my favorite oracle decks, even though I love my tarot, but I got a few oracle that I just love, and I got one I'm thinking of that we gonna go through, because I just love that one too. But a lot of times I'm showing these decks so that people who want to find an oracle deck that they like can go out and search for it. If it's something that I have and I can share it, you know, we can go about that. So that being said, if you want to get this book and journey with me, go right ahead. You know, as I'm making a mess over here, go right ahead. I 100% would love for people to join in, and we can have our own little book club. It'd be, you know, books with Kat, right? As if I ain't got enough shit I'm talking about. you know, we can do that. And I don't have a problem doing that, because I think that in the end, this could help a lot of people. And even if, you know, you're only taking pieces from it, that's okay too. Not everybody needs to read the whole book. Some people can go in and they can find that table of contents and they can scan it and go, up, I need this section, up, I need this chapter. And that's okay, right? I'm not one of those people. I gotta read the whole damn book, take notes, highlight, and all kinds of stuff. So that being said, I'll repeat the questions, because if I just noticed right, I done went over 30 minutes. Forgive me, okay? But y'all be okay. Anywho, those questions again. So I'm going to tell you guys these questions again so that you guys can, maybe journal about it, meditate on it, however you see fit. The first question, are you going up or down the stairs? Or are you embracing each level as it is in that moment? And how are you robbing yourself of happiness? And this is all about thought patterns. That's where change usually shakes us up, because a lot of times we're doing something out of repetition, and I forget the part of the brain that does that, but that's like our survival thing, and we're learning not just ways to survive, but ways to thrive. And I think that's the bigger key there, right? So that being said, I hope y'all have a glorious Wednesday, and I hope you feel good, you eat good, you smell good, because if you don't, take a shower, okay? Take a bath, do something, make yourself feel, when you get the dirt off of you, it's a different feeling, right? Like if you've been sweating all day or something, when you wake up, sometimes that shower just hit different. So sometimes that's what I mean by take a shower if you feel dirty, is to get that old juju off of you, that old stale energy, so that you can get to feeling cleaner and lighter and more vibrant, right? So that's what I mean by take a bath. So nobody take offense, okay? If you one of them soft people, I feel for you, because sometimes I am brash, okay? So I said it. I can admit it, okay? And I've been that way almost 37 years. So y'all be all right. And on top of that, I wish y'all the brightest blessings. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a good one.